Okay, so something strange is happening with an entire generation right now, and almost nobody's talking about it, honestly. Gen Z is walking away from love, and they're not being loud about it. There's no movement, no hashtag, nothing like that. They're just quietly stepping back from dating, staying out of relationships, and a lot of them have stopped trying altogether. Now, here's the part that got me. It's not that they don't want love. Most of them really, really do. They're giving up on something else. And once you see what it is, honestly, their decision starts to make a lot of sense. And the weirdest part? Most of them haven't stopped believing in love. They've stopped believing in the way we're supposed to find it. Stick with me, because the third reason is the one that changed how I think about this whole thing. First, let me show you this is real, and not just some vibe from Twitter. According to a widely discussed Pew Research survey, around 63% of men under 30 reported being single. Just let that number sink in for a second. For women under 30, it was around 34%. When you compare that to what those numbers looked like for their parents at the same age, it's not even close. And it goes further. Young people today are dating less, having fewer relationships, and having less sex than any generation researchers have ever measured. According to several large surveys, the number of young men who reported having no sex at all in the past year roughly tripled between 2008 and 2018. Yes, it literally tripled in just 10 years. People are also getting married later than ever, around 30 for men, 28 for women, and a growing chunk say they might just never do it at all. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Every generation says this about young people. My grandmother probably heard it too, and honestly, that's a fair point. But this time the numbers actually back it up. Something real is happening here. So the question isn't whether this is happening, the question is why it's happening. And I've got 3 reasons for you. So here's reason number 1. Dating stopped feeling like meeting someone and started feeling like shopping. Think about how people used to meet. You met at school, at work, through your friend's annoying cousin, at church, or the gym. The point is, you met people inside your actual life. You saw how they treated a waiter. You heard them laugh at a bad joke. You got to know them in context. Gen Z is the first generation where the default way to find love is an app. And I don't think we've fully processed what that did to people's heads. Because on an app, you're not really a person anymore. You're basically a listing. 5 photos and a 1-line bio sitting on a shelf next to 10,000 other listings. Psychologists have a name for this shift. You stop connecting with people and start evaluating them. And evaluating people all day is exhausting for everyone involved. There's this well-known idea in psychology called the paradox of choice. Basically, when you have unlimited options, you enjoy your choice less and you commit to it less. Why would you fully invest in someone when a better option might be one swipe away? And here's the uncomfortable part. The person you're talking to is thinking the exact same thing about you, and people are done with it. In recent surveys, nearly 8 out of 10 dating app users said they feel burned out. They're not tired of dating itself. They're tired of the entire process. So a lot of young people looked at all this and did the math. The game feels rigged, and the entry fee is your self-esteem. Can you really blame them for not playing? But look, the apps are just the surface. The next reason goes a lot deeper. Now here's reason number 2, and I genuinely don't think this one gets enough attention. Love costs real money, and for this generation, the money just isn't there. Think about what a relationship needs to survive. It needs free time, some spare cash, ideally your own place, and a future you'd feel okay inviting someone into. Now look at what Gen Z is working with. Record numbers still living with their parents at 27, 28. Rent eating half a paycheck, and jobs that could vanish any minute. Dates cost money, weddings cost insane money, and kids? Most young people will straight up tell you they can't afford them. And here's the thing, researchers point out, relationships need surplus. Spare energy, spare time, and even spare hope. When someone's in survival mode, romance stops feeling like this beautiful thing and starts feeling like one more bill they can't pay. So stepping back from dating isn't laziness. It's basically triage. You cut what you can't afford. But honestly, even that's not the real story. People have fallen in love during wars and during famines. Humans always found a way. So something else must have changed. Something on the inside. And that brings us to reason 3, the one that honestly got me. Sometimes I wonder if Gen Z has grown up with more day-to-day rejection than any generation before them, while getting less practice dealing with it. I know that sounds like a contradiction, so give me a second. Think about growing up online. Every post that flops, every message left on read, every time you get ghosted, and every swipe that never matches back. From like age 12, your face, your body, your personality, all of it gets scored, publicly and constantly. And rejection isn't just an emotion, by the way. Brain imaging studies suggest social rejection activates some of the same neural systems involved in physical pain. So this generation has basically been taking small doses of pain every single day through their entire adolescence. Meanwhile, and this is the cruel part, they got way less practice at the small, survivable rejections, less hanging out unsupervised, and fewer awkward school dances, way less face-to-face flirting, failing, laughing it off, and trying again. And then the pandemic landed right on top of those exact years for millions of them. So what do you get? A generation that some researchers suggest may be more sensitive to rejection than any before it. Walking up to someone at a coffee shop feels impossible. Opening up to a partner feels like handing somebody a loaded weapon. So they do the smart thing, the self-protective thing. They simply opt out. Not because they feel nothing, but because they feel too much. But here's what I keep coming back to. All that love, all that need for closeness, it didn't just disappear, it went somewhere else. And where it went, that's the part that worries me a little. All of that love got rerouted. It went into parasocial relationships, streamers, YouTubers, influencers, people who feel like friends, who show up every single day, and who can never, ever reject you. And that's because they don't even know you exist. It went into AI companions. And I'm not exaggerating here. Millions of people now talk daily to chatbots built to be endlessly patient, endlessly interested, never in a bad mood, never disappointed in you. In a weird way, loneliness itself has become a billion-dollar business. And the rest went into pure comfort. Streaming, gaming, food delivery, scrolling until 2 a.m. A life padded soft enough that the ache of being alone never quite breaks the surface. And listen, I'm not saying any of this is evil. I really am not. But notice what all of it has in common. It's intimacy with the risk removed. It's connection that can't hurt you. The problem is, real love doesn't work without the risk. That's not a flaw in the system. That is the system. The vulnerability is the whole point. Take away the chance of getting hurt, and you take away the depth, too. You get the taste of connection with none of the nutrition. The U.S. Surgeon General literally declared loneliness a public health epidemic. And guess which age group is the loneliest? Yeah, it's the youngest one. Okay, so let's answer the actual question. Is Gen Z really giving up on love? The answer is no, and I really want you to hear this part. Study after study shows most of Gen Z still wants the real thing. Committed, long-term, meaningful love. What they've given up on is the system around it. The swiping, the ghosting, the games, and the constant performing. And weirdly, that might be good news. Because the pushback has already started. Young people are deleting the apps. Run clubs are blowing up. Book clubs, hobby groups, real places with real faces. A quiet return to meeting humans as humans. So if you're part of this generation, or you love someone who is, here's what I'd leave you with. The desire for love isn't broken. The delivery system is. And the people who find real connection in the next 10 years won't be the ones with the best photos or the smoothest bio. They'll be the ones willing to do the one thing modern life trains us to avoid. Let someone actually see you, risk hearing the no, and risk being known. Because no app and no algorithm can do that part for you. It was never their job anyway. That part is yours.